The sun blazed across the horizon, spilling golden light over the Santa Monica Pier. The air carried the mingled scents of fried food, cotton candy, and salt water, weaving a sensory tapestry that defined the iconic California boardwalk. Music floated from buskers strumming guitars, punctuated by the rhythmic crash of waves against the pilings below. Families laughed as they wandered across the wide planks, children tugged at their parents' hands, begging for one more ride on the roller coaster, while couples leaned against the railing to watch the ocean shimmer like liquid glass. Amid the carnival of color and sound, one girl sat quietly near the carousel, her wheelchair tucked off to the side as though she were trying to make herself invisible. Her name was Marissa Hart, 19 years old, with long auburn hair that glinted in the sunlight. Just 2 years earlier, her life had been rewritten by the screech of tires and the twisted wreckage of a car accident. Now paralyzed from the waist down, she often found herself living between two worlds, the one where she was still just Marissa, the girl who loved beaches, music, and photography, and the one where strangers saw only the wheelchair first. The pier, though, was her sanctuary. She loved the vibrant chaos of it, the Ferris wheel's slow-turning arcs, the echo of laughter blending with seagull cries, the salty wind whipping across her cheek. Here, surrounded by noise and motion, she sometimes felt whole again. Yet what she feared most wasn't the physical challenges she faced. It was the eyes of strangers. The stares, the pitying glances, the way people seemed to weigh her worth before even hearing her voice. But today, she had promised herself something different. She wasn't going to let fear dictate her afternoon. With her arms steady on the rims of her chair, she pushed herself forward with quiet determination. She planned to buy a lemonade, maybe listen to a street musician, and let the California sun remind her that she was still part of the world. She wanted to feel normal, just another face in the crowd. That fragile normalcy shattered in seconds. From across the pier, 3 young men swaggered through the throngs of tourists, their laughter brash, their energy rowdy. One wore a bright floral shirt stretched across a puffed chest, tattoos inked like vines across his arms. The other 2 sported denim vests, their hair slicked back, their eyes scanning for trouble. They shoved each other playfully, cursing and jeering, until suddenly their attention fixed on Marissa. Their grins sharpened like wolves scenting prey. They approached slowly, theatrically, drawing attention even before they spoke. The man in the floral shirt leaned down, his shadow falling over her. "Move," he sneered, the words slicing through the cheerful noise of the pier like a blade. Marissa froze. She had grown accustomed to whispers, to overhearing muttered comments she wasn't meant to catch. But this was different, public, cruel, loud enough to echo. Before she could even respond, his boot lashed out, striking the side of her wheelchair. The chair jolted violently, teetering toward the edge of the boardwalk plank. Marissa gasped, one hand flying out to steady herself, the other gripping the wheel so hard her knuckles whitened. For one terrifying second she thought she might topple sideways onto the wood. People nearby turned. Heads swiveled. But no one stepped in. Their silence rang louder than the bullies' laughter. And in that moment Marissa's heart sank. Not because of the insults, but because of the indifference, the way the crowd's eyes slid away, as if compassion were too heavy a burden to carry. The men didn't stop. "Bet you can't even stand up without help," one sneered, his voice dripping venom. Another doubled over with laughter, slapping his knee, as if her existence was nothing but a cruel joke staged for their amusement. Marissa's throat tightened. She wanted to disappear, to wheel herself away, but her body betrayed her. Her arms felt weighted, her courage cracked beneath their ridicule. And then, something changed. At first it was sound, a low, steady rumble that rolled through the wooden planks beneath her. The bullies faltered mid-laugh, confusion flickering across their faces. Heads turned toward the street that fed into the pier. Motorcycles, dozens of them, maybe more, chrome gleaming in the sunlight, engines growling like thunder dragged straight out of the Pacific. Leather jackets glistened with patches, tattoos sprawled across weathered skin, boots polished dark as storm clouds. One by one, they parked their machines and dismounted, a tide of riders moving as a single unit. Men and women of every age, hardened by life yet bound by an unspoken code, began walking toward the commotion. The boardwalk fell silent. The bullies shrank. The floral shirt ringleader's grin vanished, replaced by panic darting across his eyes as he scanned for escape. But there was none. The riders had closed ranks too quickly. The leader of the pack emerged, a towering man with a silver beard and eyes like tempered steel. He stepped forward with slow, deliberate movements, his arms folding across his chest. His gaze locked on the three men, a glare so sharp it seemed to cut straight through their bravado. Behind him, the riders fanned out, forming a protective wall around Marissa. Boots thudded in unison against the planks, a rhythm of defiance. The message was silent but undeniable: you will not touch her again. The bullies stumbled back, suddenly small, their voices lost. The swagger that had carried them moments ago evaporated under the weight of sheer presence. No fists were raised, no threats shouted, yet the atmosphere itself shifted, the balance of power reversed with breathtaking simplicity. Marissa's pulse hammered in her ears. For the first time since her accident, she didn't feel weak. She didn't feel like a burden. She felt protected. Seen. Worth standing up for. Phones lifted. Tourists who had once turned away now leaned in, recording as history unfolded. The same crowd that had been silent moments before now buzzed with awe, every eye fixed on the standoff. At last, the bullies broke. Muttering curses, they backed away, shoulders hunched, retreating like shadows fleeing the sun. The applause started softly, then spread like wildfire. Children clapped, parents smiled, and strangers nodded with relief. The silver-bearded leader crouched to Marissa's level, his expression softening. "You're safe now," he said, his voice low and gravelly, yet imbued with kindness. Tears blurred Marissa's vision. She nodded, unable to speak, overwhelmed by the simple truth in his words. Around her, riders smiled and offered thumbs up, some resting calloused hands on her chair as if to say, "We've got you." To them, she wasn't broken. She wasn't a punchline. She was someone worth guarding. The Ferris wheel turned lazily in the background, the carousel spun, the ocean wind roared, and for one unforgettable moment, cruelty had been drowned by courage. In the days that followed, footage of the event spread across the internet. Clips of the bikers surrounding Marissa went viral, shared across platforms with captions like, "Kindness protects," and "This is what real strength looks like." Thousands commented, some sharing memories of times when they had been defended, others confessing regrets about the moments they had stayed silent. What began as Marissa's painful experience became something far larger.